2 hours talking because his sister passed away in a car accident like a year ago.
Mm.
And we were talking, and he told me that his girlfriend is a doctor, and his dad is a doctor, and no, his brother is a doctor, and her dad also is a doctor, and they have a clinic in Pakistan.
Right, right.
And he also knows a lot about alternative treatments, and saying the same, like they don't want to know about alternative treatments because they can't earn money.
Mm-hmm.
But they still, in Pakistan, they're more open about alternatives, and they try to combine it more.
Right.
Like we always talk, like they try to go to the cause of the problem, not treat it before they know the cause.
Yeah.
And but he said that it's getting more like it was Western medicine corrupt, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. And see, this is the sort of thing that I think with you when I first saw your site. The reason why I've taken this step back with the easy approach is only for one reason, Christian. I can see what you want to do with the fight, but as I said to you before, it's a little bit too loud. The only reason I'm saying that is it's loud to the point because when you go out there and you fight and you fight with big guns, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
You're going to
Yeah,
lose.
I know.
So one of the more interesting parts about looking at this sort of approach, like I'll run through today, and this is getting recorded. What I wanted to do was just to explain. I'll do that when I start this presentation thing. Just have a
Okay, if
look.
it's getting recorded, I have to fix my hair.
No. You stay as you
I'm
are,
joking.
mate.
I'm joking.
You know, I woke up this morning. It was reasonably early, so I thought, oh, well, I'll just sit down for a short while, have a think about what it is that I wanted to say, whether anyone comes on or not. I was having a talk to one of the guys from New Zealand earlier, and he was saying to me that the best thing that you can actually do, Doug, he said it was the same thing when I started out doing what I was doing. He said, you just get out there and you do it. And every week, the same time, you do it. And if people want to listen, they will come.
Yeah.
He said, that's the
They will. I mean, it's a weekend. Maybe it's not so smart, I guess. Figure it out now. Maybe it's better during a weekday.
All right. Well, look, since it's just you and I, what I might do is just run through this presentation thing that I've got. And we can post this onto our site as well too. Yeah. What do you say?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right, everyone. The whole idea of this presentation here was to work with you guys, whether it was online or posting it up into our Facebook page. The basic point of the What If series, there is a 4-part series that will go into it. The whole idea is trying to make people understand that there are these diseases that we actually have in this world today that are related to soft tissues. Doctors treat it with medication, but that's not the way to look at it. Finding the cause predominantly is the way to go. The second issue is blood sugars. A majority of our diseases, cardiovasculars in particular, diabetes to follow suit, are also in that strain. Again, a wide many range like Alzheimer's, dementia, and so forth, ADD, ADHD, OCD, blood sugars. If we looked at the digestive system, and it's the most important of them all, primarily 70% of your immune system exists here in your digestion system. So what we look in these part series here is just to understand the reasons why digestion is so important to the human body, and not just its basic principle, but the basic function of what happens inside the digestive system. Hard tissues, to keep the body functioning, they need to stay hard, and the diseases that will come with these as well. Arthritis is a classic that we talk about today. What if scientists have proven this? Why do they hide it? What if you could live a long and healthy life without sickness? no medication. Eat healthy, live healthy, and be healthy. And in theory, live this most amazing long life. Do you want to live a healthy long life, or you just prefer to live your lives as you do today? The choice is yours, really. What if? What if it is all possible? All of that. It's not just possible, it's probable. Online Pharma Letter, the annual review for the top 10 pharma companies. 2019 gave us these wonderful figures. The market was worth nearly $1.3 trillion, to which the top 10 companies, $392.5 billion. And this is just in 2019 alone. Since then, we've gone through the pandemic. These are your 10 leading companies, and you understand the reasons why we have issues in this world today. Pfizer, Roche, Novartis, among the many. Speaking of Novartis, how are they intertwined? Novartis International AG also owns Ciba-Geigy, also owns Sandoz, subsidiaries of the Novartis Group. Just keep that thought in mind for a tick. All this money that's been spent in research, statistics, including spending for supportive care, 2010 to 18 alone was 150 billion US. But get this, 6 years earlier, 91 billion, the increase in such a short period of time. So what if? What if you could lead a natural life? What if you could lead a healthy life? What if you could lead a life without medication? What if you had those choices? What would you do? This is my journey through cancer. It's pretty straightforward, really. What I wanted to try and achieve before I got diagnosed with cancer was to find a way that I could possibly help. My mum had passed with cancer, my grandmother, my dad, my uncle, in a family of 25 people. 18 of us were diagnosed with cancer, and only 6 of us are alive today, and thank God I'm one of them. My travels through cancer, I had mantle cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. When I was first diagnosed, I only found out we were in travel from Adelaide, moving up to Brisbane to come and live in Brisbane. And what I had decided then was that we'll spend a bit of time with my family to introduce them to Rob, spend a bit of time with this family in New South Wales, and then venture up to Brisbane and settle, and that was to be home. Within 5 days, I was diagnosed with cancer. I didn't even know. Healthy as could be, oof, what went wrong? Some lumps on the left-hand side of my groin, some lumps on the right-hand side of the groin. So off to the doctors the next day. So this is day 6. Off to the doctors the next day. Got sent off to get an ultrasound. From an ultrasound to a CT scan. And within 5 days, I'd been diagnosed with mantle cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 3 aggressive. It was moving pretty fast. 2.5 weeks later, I had a PET scan to run through. By the time I'd had that PET scan completed, I had 2 days before I then again got told it had moved from stage 3 aggressive to stage 4 aggressive. In theory, the first staging gave me 9 to 18 months. This final staging with the PET scan gave me 3 to 6 months, and I had a challenge. My challenge was either fight the medical system with organic and natural ways of living and be able to try and survive that way, because I knew one thing and one thing only. Chemotherapy was going to be the thing that was going to kill me. I was a little bit scared at first when the thoughts first sat there, but I got stuck into it, spoke to a few people, managed to find myself a tonic, and a herbal tonic, but natural, organic, to be able to fight this cancer. It was a big power punch, along similar lines to what you can find on the net called the black salve, but not exactly the same. It's got a few other things in it as well. But this one here was to try it out. So my option was to either go the natural way and do the diet change and stick with chemotherapy, or take it on full hog with that full-on diet change as well as going through the black stab. So my options were, I had a three-way split. And when you get a crossroads given to you in life where you stand there and you look and you think, goodness me, the end is only a short end. I have this side to walk, and that's chemotherapy that could kill, or I could survive it. If I go the organic way, that could kill, or I would survive. And if I didn't do those two, either which way, I'd be 6 foot under. So I had a choice. 3 ways with 6 foot under with no possible outcome. So what was I going to do? I started looking into it, and eventually I realized, as I had gone through and traversed through cancer, that everything that I had been doing prior to and at the initial stages of chemotherapy was this combination between the chemotherapy as well as the holistic natural approach. Through this and through the understanding of many people that I came to meet along the way, they were absolutely right. It worked with me, and I'm sitting here today only because I know for a fact, in more ways than not, the system has let us down, not with regards to the medical system, not with regards to the way things are, but the way they've educated us, the way they've taught us about how things should really be, and not do the things that we've been asking them not to do for a very, very long time. And that's put food on the shelves. Doesn't matter whether it's a supermarket or stuff that you bring home, it makes no difference what. Be honest with us. Give us the truth. Tell us the truth that there is nothing left out there for us to eat. That's why we're eating the foods that you give us, only because we can get medication. That's been my theory. It still is my journey with cancer. 2 days ago, as a quick example, I had my niece who went into one of the hospitals in Fiji. She went in to the hospital with an asthmatic attack, a massive asthmatic attack. They in turn realized that there was a problem, so they thought they'd give her an enema to go and clean her stomach and her bowels out. That didn't work, obviously, because she's having a massive attack. So here we go. They lay her on her back. They put a COVID-19 mask over her and then sedate her, and the woman's having a massive attack. So our system, there's an example. Happened with my sister, it happened with my brother, it happened with me, it happened with my dad. So in my immediate family, my fight for this cause of truth and justice when it comes to the medical system is massive. But where their problems lie really is teaching us some of the basics. And here's a very simple thing that I lived with. The only reason I do this, a dream becomes a goal when action is taken towards its achievement. How much more can I say? If we don't do anything about it, nothing will happen. If we don't complain about it, nothing will happen. What can we do about it? That's very, very simple. We ask again, what if? What if we got given the options? So through this next section of the series, what I'd really love to discuss in here is why and how did we get to this critical point with our health on a global scale. This going through this COVID-19 should have given us more reason. I mean, look, people are dying around the world. There's nothing much more we can say about that because of COVID-19, but yet comes back down to the basics again. What do we rely on to be able to make us to survive daily on a daily basis? Food. This is where we're going to find it. So we need to learn more about our health and our bodies. We need to understand more about our bodies and why. It's pretty straightforward. When you look at this little intricate machine that's functioning constantly in the background, your gallbladder's doing this, you've got a spleen doing this, you've got a kidney doing this, you've got everything functioning inside your body. And yet you'd take your car down the road and you'd spend $400, $500, $600 getting it sorted out. But you wouldn't do that to your body, would you? No. So this is what we need to try and understand a little bit more about. To be able to work with the system and fight the system like we want to, as I've mentioned so many times before, literally what you've got to do is take the toys away. The toys to me have always been the medication that the doctors prescribe. They've got nothing else that they know. They don't spend much time studying nutrition while they're going through their training. 16 hours I know of in max. 16 hours. So if they're to teach you about the body, they're only teaching you about how to fix it, but they'll never teach you that because they get trained for that, and it costs, as you know. Understand more about nutritional deficiencies. Why should we do things like this? Well, it's pretty straightforward. There is no nutrition left in the soil, pretty much worldwide now. The small places, if you have a look on the global scale, plant this map in front of you, what you'd see is a lot more brown patches than you have ever seen in the past. So those brown patches means that desertification is happening in this world, and that's because of us, because of our greed. If we could get that back up and going and get to situations where we can understand a little bit more about nutrition and get good nutrition that Mother Nature gave us and not that mankind stole, that's how I feel about it. Spraying, over farming, it's going to happen. America's already been given its ultimatum with regards to how long it actually has with nutritional deficiencies. That means we're buying stuff that's grown indoors. So, where's this Mother Nature part? So what we look for across the board is the relationships that we look at these days. Is there a relationship between the many diseases we have today to nutritional deficiencies? This is one point, and I'm going to bring some people in with me in some of these meetings, and I'm hoping that they will enlighten you a little bit more with regards to some of these issues. I'd also want to know, do they actually stem out of the 900 that we know of? 220 affect us pretty much immediately on a big scale at the moment, and there's a huge range that goes from skin problems, psoriasis, all the way through to heart problems, all the way through to diabetes, to ADHD, to Alzheimer's, to you name it, in that range of 220. Do we know, do the diseases stem from nutritional deficiencies, yes or no? And the answer is yes. I'll show that also too in this three-stage series through the heart section. What are the causes? Well, doctors can tell you how to treat it. They can tell you how to fix it. But one of the things that they cannot tell you is what caused it. And sometimes it could have happened last week. In my particular case with cancer, I went from being absolutely healthy on the 27th of August in 2012. By the 5th, I had lumps and I was on my way out. So it can happen really quickly. So we need to understand what the causes are. Is it a nutritional deficiency that's actually put us into this stage now? Is all of these things that we've been talking about with regards to not just supplementation, but nutritional deficiencies as in such, what's the body needing to be able to survive like it does? It's been taken away from the soil. So if it's been taken away from the soil, it's not going to be in the vegetables. Why? In more ways than we care to know about. We've been led down the garden path with regards to what nutrition really is all about. So what can be done to help? It's very simple. All we do is share that there is a possibility that we can actually live longer. There is a possibility that we can do things that we anticipated doing, which is living a long and healthy life. It can be done. It's just learning how. So this knowledge thing, the reason for this site, AntiSys Warriors, started out as anti-medical system. I think, and I'm not too certain how most of you feel about it, but to this particular AntiSys Warriors that we've got carrying through now, we've collected some amazing people. We've collected a group of people that have come to join us on this same journey, on this same path. This is the first start to the introductions that we're going through towards the end of this meeting. What I'd like to bring forward is that this is a site that fights against truth. It's a site that fights against the honesty from the system towards who we are. And it's also a way of turning around and saying that together we can share this help. It's up to you. At the end of the day, help. If you ask for it, it comes. We asked a couple of weeks ago, we were at 45. Here we are today And today we have more than 500 members. Thank you very, very much for joining our cause. I'm looking a little bit tired. It's been a very, very hard past couple of days with family, obviously, for what has happened in our family. But to one and all, we'll be chatting at the same time. If you don't catch up with me here, we'll have this posted onto the Facebook page. Thanks very much. And any wise words there, Mr. Christian Grubisic?
I didn't hear your last words. What did you ask me?
I said, any ending words there at all?
That I agree with you, and especially that they don't look for the cause. They only want to look to treat the symptoms. And I've been in the same path like you recently, and I have a lot of hate inside of me, and I am because I lost someone close to me not a long time ago, and I will wait for a while until my hate disappears so I can think more clearly and to fight in the right way and not in a wrong way, like me and you have been talking privately.
Yep. All right, champ. Well, look, I'm sort of hoping that this comes on board a little bit more. I think maybe looking at it from, can you hear me clear enough?
Yeah.
Trying to make it to the point now with this side here to get forward to what we've been talking about. The way we're going to fight, the way we're going to try and get this through is making people, you can change the way people think about things just a little bit, Christian. I think we've been taught for too long that there is only one way of doing things. And my firm belief has never been there's only one way of doing it. I survived cancer because I chose which journey I wanted to go through. And by making that decision, I knew then and there that that fight that I had before getting diagnosed with cancer, it was so important that I put that together with this belief that I had that something went wrong. And I'm glad I did. We wouldn't be sitting here today if we didn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
So no, thank you very, very much for asking me to admin with you very, very much, because we're getting out there now. People are talking a little bit more, which is a good thing.
Yeah. They're opening up their eyes all over the world.
They are, man. They are.
It's hard to hide this. So, but the elite are trying, and somehow they're managing it, but also at the same time they're failing because people have the internet, and one of the reason. And people talk to each other, and they see that the doctors are not gods, which they pretend to be, or think they are many times.
Slowly, bit by bit, I'm hoping that if we go through this whole series and just finish up the series, so this was just basically to talk about the start of it. If we get through these 4-part series, maybe just a little bit more people might be looking at seeing how things can change, how you can stop worrying about some. And I saw a documentary last night on basic pain medicine. It's disgusting. It really is, but we rely on it as a community, as a group of people every day. When we go through pain, the only thing we do know is what we've been taught, and that's the doctor's medicine. So, changing that attitude, I think perhaps is the way to go, making them feel that, I think it's in general that across the board, Christian, that when you're talking to people, human beings in general, they get fixed in their ways. I live in a household where there is, for most of them, they do their thing. There is only one way of doing it. But I know, since I was a child, there is never just one way of doing things. I was always given, when a brick wall comes up, I used to always get told, there is always a way to go around. Just take the little brick out and you can see. If you can see on the other side, the brick wall's easy to break down. You just need to see the other side.
Exactly.
4 or 5 years old, we're learning these sort of lessons in life. And I saw the theory behind it, but it didn't happen to me. That theory, I didn't quite click onto my brain until I got to going through cancer myself. That I saw what mum was talking about. We get to that situation. The first thing that hits us is this brick wall. Hey, we've got 3 months to live. That's the first brick wall that you get. Then come all the other ones. What do I do if I have to do that? I've got to do this. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. The mind goes into play about so many different things that you've got to do. But at the end of the day, you don't got to do nothing, because in 3 months you're dead. So, well, that's what the doctor said. Well, it's not true. I'm not the only person that says the same. I'm quite but one of many who have gone through. I know that. And sometimes I wish, Christian, that most of these people who have made it through would do what I'm doing to share what they have gone through, because if they can say the same thing, they went through chemotherapy, they went through doctor's medicine to survive one of the deadly diseases, cancer, and they used holistic medicine, or they used, if more of us would get out there and talk about these sort of things, don't charge for anything, because it didn't cost you anything. You got it for free at at the hospital. Everything was supplied to you while you were ailing, with all your food and things like that. So don't complain about what you have to share. You lived. You went through the worst stage in your life. You almost died going through cancer. You made it back. Tell your story so people will understand how we can make this better.
Yeah.
This is the reason why I do this, and this is the reason why I share as much as I possibly can, free of charge. The only reason I do that is because knowledge wasn't ours to be kept. It was ours to be shared. So I'm in big hope. It's been like that with me all my life. Big hope that it actually works with yours as well. So, this is the way I look at life. You get given options all the way through. It's up to you to make that choice, and it's up to you to follow that through. That's what it is, literally.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, champ, I'll get this closed down here at this point now, and I'll get this posted up onto our site today. Let's see how we go.
Yeah, it will get better. I know.
It will. All right, champ. Yeah. You take care.
You too.
We chat real soon.
Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.